Hey, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. It's Sunday. Fuck, I don't remember the day anymore. It's December 6th. 6th. Um, welcome back. Um, as always, I am not a lawyer, a therapist, a doctor, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. I guess there's interesting things afoot. Giuliani has COVID. It was interesting before I knew that he went into the hospital. I was writing something in my workout. We have like a Facebook messaging group, and I had said on there, what annoys me is he's going to take a hospital bed. He'll sort of be made priority because he's VIP, which I find annoying, quite frankly. And it does happen in hospitals, and anybody who says it doesn't happen is full of it, because it does. Hello, KK. Welcome back. So I only have 3 names on the list. So KK, Daniel, Tracy, and Allie. So Daniel put out, his channel is Spiritually Out of the Closet, and I watched his video. He put out a video today, and it's really interesting. So it's kind of about judgment after life and what people experience. And that's sort of what he talks about, is sort of basically what I sort of kind of pick up from spirits that are having difficulty crossing over or haven't crossed over, that they sort of stay here and don't cross over because they feel that they don't deserve to. They get stuck in this thought process that they don't fit the mold of what their religious or spiritual practice taught them that was, acceptable to God. And also the way he describes the grass and just the way that it looks. I've had dreams where I feel like I've been on the other side in heaven, and it looks like that. Very vibrant colors, rolling fields, and kind of hills and stuff like that. Daniel, I don't know if I didn't look at your thing. I didn't know if you had any questions or if you were just donating. But again, this week I'm going to go ahead and do 100% to charity. And it's going to be the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. So anyway, check out his channel. It's Spiritually Out of the Closet. Like and subscribe. This might be a quiet week, and that's okay. I'm kind of tired today anyway. Hi, Devery. I was wondering what happened to you. I thought maybe you were disappointed, and then I was going to check in on you and make sure you were okay. Hi, Dan. No questions. So anyway, I loved your video, Dan. I really did. I thought it was great. And I was saying, I don't know if you caught me just saying this now, that I kind of corroborated sort of your experience of what you picked up, that I've sort of picked up very, very similar explanations of what happens when we go over, like God or whatever you want to call it doesn't judge us. It's really sort of kind of us that does it. Hi, Regine. So anyway, I was telling Rudy to check it out because I really liked it. And that's that. So if we want to start, then Dan doesn't have any. Tracy, Allie, either one of you are up. And then whoever else wants to go. Otherwise, if it's quiet night, you guys want to just chat about something, we can do that too. The other day, I dreamed of lots of rain and island in the sky. It was beautiful. I wonder if it was the other side. I've never experienced that way, but it doesn't mean that it can't be. So it's just like when I always say, like, if you believe something, then it is, right? So my best friend asked me today, she's like, I saw something came up in one of these forums about animal mediumship, right? But this person only speaks to horses, apparently. And I said, if you believe it, that's the only way you can do things, then you are. I mean, then that's it. Like, then you can't communicate with dogs or cats or humans, whatever, in that form. Like the Long Island medium says, she goes, I'm not psychic, I'm just medium. The reality is it's all from the same source energy, right? But I also believe that we experience the other side. It can look different, right? When I dream of water, it's always some spiritual connection. So that's when you said that, that's like to me the first thing I saw, spiritual emotional connection. And I sort of feel like it's this outpouring and finally releasing of, as yours, like as I'm thinking about yours, this releasing of this emotional baggage that you've held on to for a long time, and this idea that, um, okay, this is interesting. So just go with it. You can only have happiness if it's this unreachable place. And there's sort of the idea is that sort of like that, that's not really the case. Um, what they're telling me is, um, you sort of made that idea up in your head that this true happiness is this unattainable thing, and that it's separate of you. And they're saying it's not separate of you, that it doesn't have to be that perspective in that way. Um, and that you can have it. Did you actually reach this island, or were you able to find a way to get there? Like, it feels like I found a way to get there, or maybe you woke up before you actually got to the destination, but it's like what do you call it? Give me a moment. A dock, like a boat and a dock or something. Like I would take this, like maybe not a boat, but like the way they're showing me is like a dock, and I take this either bridge or some sort of transport over. You woke up before you got there, right? So the idea is this is like a step into that direction, to learning that, yeah, okay, so this is a step into that direction, to learning that this is something that's not beyond your reach. I just realized I forgot to put my wedding ring on. I took it off for something and then I forgot to put it back on. That this is not beyond your reach. That this is something that you're going to learn how to access, and learn that it's within your power and your choice. Ooh, that's a pretty cool dream. It feels more sci-fi than like the other side. It feels more of like when my guides do these weird convoluted messages to speak to me. Like I had a dream about a dojo and a gladiator and a koala bear. They were in my dreams the other night. It was weird. So that's the way they're telling me to interpret the dream. Hello, Eva. I think that when we start to learn to really tap in and understand so there's another huge thing that you should understand, is that your guides are always talking to you. Your dreams are very vivid. And learn to understand that it's not, sometimes it is our brain just sort of like pilfering through all of the crap we experience during the day. But a lot of times when they're kind of weird like that, my sense from my dreams that are like that, it's your guides speaking to you. So I'm going to leave you with that. I will check here in just a second. Eva, you said you have 2 questions. So I'll just double check that in 1 second. Tracy says, I was curious if my guides could give you insight on my future. Everything feels up in the air with my career, but I want to live off the grid. I mean, you don't want to have to be connected into the banana stuff of oh, okay. So they just said you can live off. As I'm checking for this, they go, you can live off the grid in 6 years. And why 6, I'm not sure. But so after I had the list was Tracy, Allie, Regine, Eva times 2, and Kay. Devry, please tell me, how are you today? So let's ask about your job. And I don't feel like you'll be fully off the grid. I actually feel like, to me, it feels similar the way. So this guy that I graduated from high school with, he just like bought a big, like, I think it's like a 14 passenger van. It might be a little bit smaller, but he like put solar panels on it and whatever the power grid stuff is. And he like tore it out. I mean, he made it his traveling home because I'm always like seeing pictures of him and he's always traveling like literally all over the country. I think he went, I mean, all over the country with his dog. And so he just made himself have a home now. Like it's, got a bed and everything else. So to me, it feels something like that. Like I have like a small RV or something like that. And I'm not really totally off the grid, but I'm not tied to one place. A schoolie? I don't know what a schoolie is. So I'm going to just take your word that that sounds about what I'm explaining. But it looks really nice what he's done. And I thought that was cool that he did the solar panels, like, so you can, have a power source and not be necessarily like have to be tied to it. They're like, you're going to have to download. You'll have to get a PO box though. Because you'll have to have a physical address unless you use your parents or something like that. But you have to have a physical address just for a place to send your bills. Even if you pay everything online, you have to have an address for them to tie to stuff. Whatever. But it feels like 6 years out yet. Your career. I don't feel like it's as up in the air as you feel like it is. I do feel like things are settling in January. Like I feel like kind of like that up in the air feeling until like mid to end January. And then I feel like it settles down. Like it just, they're showing me like slow-mo, like when you see, I don't want to say crashing because it sounds like crashing the way I'm going to describe it, but it's not crashing. So just like, it's not crashing. It's a feeling of slow-mo, like catching air, like when you go off a ramp or something, like if you're skateboarding or riding a bike off a ramp, right? It's like that feeling of catching air and then landing, but it's like slow-mo through January and then landing towards the end of January, but like safe landing, right? Because like people when they're like doing, what do you call that? Bike tricks. There's a name for it though. There's like an official name for that. Anyway, when you're doing that, like you land and you know how to land. So it's like feeling like it's just that catching air. Allie, you didn't have to make another donation, but thank you because that's going to all go to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And I was like so excited because last week we did a $205 that all went to it. So that's to me awesome if we can help people out because there's a lot of people that are struggling right now. And I just don't feel like people should have to struggle for food. That's just like, yeah. So, okay. I hope that's good for you, Tracy. Are you good? Did that answer your question? Yay, Regine, thank you. She said it makes it 1 year since I've been following you every Sunday. So happy anniversary. Thank you. It's so good to know you. Thanks for sticking with me for so long. Oh, I did. She said, you started that day with my grandma. I'd like to know more today if she has any messages. Oh, I just said, Allie, thank you. Allie, I did your message. I didn't call you yet. I just was saying thank you. Regine, tell me your grandma's name. And then Eva, if you want to type your questions if you haven't yet. Hi, Chatterbox. Oh, that's so sweet. Y'all don't make me cry. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Selena. Okay, but can I just say something? When I was a kid, Selena was like huge in Texas, and my mom worked in like a very Hispanic area of Houston, and all of her little kids loves Selena. They love Selena. And I remember it being really big. And then when she died, when she was murdered, like it was huge. And now I kind of can't wait to watch. I loved the movie with Jennifer Lopez, and I can't wait to watch the series. If any of you started the series, sorry, I just thought of Selena that way. It was super random for me to come out with that, but don't tell me any more about your grandma. Okay. Oh, it's your paternal grandmother. Now that's interesting. Chatterbox, thank you so much. That was very kind of you. And I hope that I inspire you guys to connect with your own spiritual thing and dive into your own intuition and be empowered and understand that you are not alone and that you don't have to fall into the trappings of some of these weird spiritual prophet-y type people who sort of gather these followings. And know that anything that comes from spirit and source is loving and kind and good, and there is no fear driven behind it. I see a lot of that right now, and it makes me really sad. And I see it, like I saw some crazy thing on Twitter with some pastor like praying for Trump. I know I'm not a big Trump fan, so whatever. But pray like and fine if we want to pray for him. Like you know, it's on your own energy to not want to pass that negativity towards someone, but like making people afraid of what God is. And that's the kind of stuff when you watch Dan's video, because you're going to watch it and you're going to support him, right? Because we're going to support each other. If any of you other have any other channels, let's support each other. But that's what like keeps these energies that kind of like morph into these negative dark things here, is this fear that they don't line up or match up or whatever. So I hope that I inspire you to like find your own spiritual connection and be empowered and love yourself and be kind to yourself and kind to others. Selena was huge. Okay. I just remember like the dad would always say her name, Selena. Sorry. I just thought it was funny. Selena. Okay. And I knew like I had friends' dads who reminded me so much of that guy. Anyway, okay. All right, Selena, let's chat. Did she do something kind of like, I don't know, like she's breathing breath into something, like she's blowing. So is she blowing out candles, or is there some little like, it doesn't feel like it was like a serious thing. But there's like, or some kind of joke about it, but there's something about blowing. She's doing this to me. Like I'm blowing life into something, or I'm ask your mom about it. Can your mom, oh, I don't know if your mom can validate that. Has your mom passed too? You feel very connected to her. Is it around your birthday right now? It's either, it's like, it feels like something like a wish, right? When you blow out a candle, you make a wish. So is there something that you're wishing for that she would be breathing life into and bringing to you? No, it's not your birthday. Then is there something that you're making a wish and sort of have chatted with her about? Like, I want to have this happen, or, and she's breathing life into it? Because it's the feeling of this may make sense to you later then. Just that's, do you have a prayer card next to your bed? Because to me, it's the sound of, like, when I don't know if they do this at other funerals, but Catholic masses and funerals, they give you like the hard, like the prayer card, and then on the back it'll have about the person or whatever, but it's like, or their name and birth and death date. But it's like that hard laminated plastic. But that's what the sound I'm hearing is, like a really heavy cardboard, like a playing card, and I'm hearing that sound on a bedside table. Do you have a prayer card or her prayer card next to your bed? That's fine. If that's a validation that she would have been very religious, because it's this prayer card. She makes me feel like you should have this too. She told me you need to spend more time in prayer. You can do what you want. Listen, I know there's a ton of people who tell you to meditate every day, and I have 3 small children. 2 of them are in virtual school. I'm just keeping afloat like everybody else, so I'm not meditating every day, quite frankly. Um, it's that feeling of spend more in time in prayer with me, make more connection with me. I'll make myself known to you. But I feel like she moves something around on your, or taps something, or there's something she'll move around. So look at your bedside table. Just, are you often changing the position of something because it's not just quite right? Listen to me. And I know you may say not me right now. Just hold on to some of this stuff because sometimes it'll make sense at another point. She's showing me a cat and earrings. So it can be 2 separate things or it can be the same thing, but there's a connection somehow. Do you hear cats? Like a cat meowing or something, like thinking you're hearing a cat? Sometimes. Okay. Because I'm like, why am I? um, I feel like, okay, so I feel like English wouldn't have been her first language, but I also feel like she had a hard time communicating at the end. I would love to, Chatterbox. Absolutely. Email me. We'll set something up. I don't know how you do that, but I'll come on your channel. I'm totally happy to do that. English isn't her first language. So it's just that feeling of, so I think these are just validations. As religious as she was, I don't feel like, because if she's saying to me, you have to pray every day, like, it feels like I was ritualistic, but not necessarily spiritually connected, not necessarily faithfully following God. So there is a very big difference between somebody who is religious and ritualistic and somebody who just fully believes. Do you know, she doesn't feel like she was a large woman. I would put her at like 5'2", 5'3". I don't know if you can validate that. Shorter hair, and if she had any teeth at the end, I'd be surprised because I'm seeing it like this, like I would have had dentures. And I also feel like she wore house dresses a lot. Like she was very kind of relaxed. And I feel like she had a lot of love, like, cause she hugged me and gave me a kiss and said thank you. So I do feel like she was like kind of a loving grandmother. I don't feel like she was very educated, but she was smart. Um, this is I don't think she's saying this, but it's like the feeling I get across is like she could MacGyver the out of anything like around the house. Like she knew how to fix stuff around the house, cook anything. Like if she could just open a door and make anything, like open the door to the fridge and make anything. So it's just that feeling of like she's around you and she'll be with you and you don't have to worry. I feel like she'll visit you in your dreams and make herself known there more, but she communicates with you another way. So you're gonna learn how to connect with her. You're gonna learn how to do this. So maybe her idea of sitting in prayer is with more just taking a little bit of time every day to try and listen for her and acknowledge when you get a little something. Um, did you and your dad like that movie? It's that Christmas movie. It's the old one, and the line in it is like every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. Because I just heard a little jingle bell, and that's what I think of when I think of that. What is that movie? I've never actually even seen it. I just know it from my family's like stuff. Okay. She said she'll be back. So she'll come back and visit again. But oh, ask the question. The movie, it's an old Christmas movie. It's either from the 50s, I think. Let me try and remember. And every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah. Thanks, Lily. Oh, that's so cute, KK. I love that. That's really synchronistic. So remember, there are no synchronicities. Like it is, there is a reason all of that happens as it does. So you had a wonderful visit from your grandmother, and she'll visit you again. Just kind of be open to it. So Eva and Kay. Eva, you can have 2 questions. And I think, Allie, did you want to ask another question or did you just want to donate? It's up to you. I'm sure you can find it on like the, what is it, Turner Classics right now. Eva says, message from my stepdad, Vlad, passed away. Okay, so let me answer your question first versus you connecting with your stepfather. Did he have a mole or like that's literally like, I can see his face. He would have been clean shaven. And I feel like always combed his hair. But then like it's not on his face though, but he's showing me this mole. And it's like fleshy colored mole. It's not like a gross, creepy, where it's like 18 different colors. And does this make any sense at all? This is for Eva. And am I buffering tonight? Am I doing better? Hoping so. Okay. And he shows me too, like wearing a short sleeve button down shirt, um, like dress pants or khaki pants with a belt, shirt tucked in. Like he always looked nice. I don't feel like he took very good care of himself because I see him having a little bit of a belly. And his face looks a little bit heavier. Um, my throat feels a little scratchy and I feel like a little bit more difficulty breathing. So did he have a difficult time breathing at the end of life, like requiring oxygen is the way I feel? And he said a rebreather mask. So that's one of those clear masks that has a bag on it, but it's not, I don't feel intubated. He was a heavy smoker. Okay. Okay. Did he at a point, I feel like they gave him oxygen at a point. So would he have maybe they revived him from his heart attack, or they sort of kept him around a little bit and then it was like not like his heart wasn't strong enough? Because I feel a mask on him. And it's a feeling of not being able to breathe. I don't necessarily feel like my heart. I feel I can't breathe. Okay. It's funny, he's showing me like looking around, seeing people and like sort of being aware of what's going around. Like I'm not totally out. But the interesting part is again, I don't necessarily notice the pain. The thing I notice the most is not being out, feeling like I can't breathe. But it's like it's almost like an out of body experience in the sense that so maybe he was in a little bit of a shock from it, but in the sense that like I don't feel like I'm floating outside of my body, but it's like feeling very removed, like kind of disassociated. When some people go through trauma, they sort of disassociate and they're like not really there. It's that feeling, but I'm not physically out of my body. That happens too, but I don't feel like that's happening to him here. Was there something about his toes? Or did you wear toe rings or something at a point? Is he showing me toe rings and wiggling his toes? Like, would he have made a joke about taking his money with him like the way the Egyptians did? Like, make sure you put all my jewels on me. I feel like he's kind of funny. I also feel like in joking and in passing, he would have said, I don't want to be on a ventilator, like made it like, bring all my riches with me. I'm going to enjoy life. I'm just going to like, I can't take it with me kind of thing. Okay. I know his name is Vlad, and that's more Eastern European kind of, right? Or something like that. But I feel like I'm eating a big piece of lasagna or Italian food. Like my mouth is watering like eating a big piece of lasagna. Right. But I feel like so, or is there a Russian dish? Heavy food. Is there a Russian dish that would be similar? Because I feel like a tomato sauce and like with, like he's literally sitting down at a table with a napkin on, like a bib, the way I do with my children, eating like legs spread, I guess, so he can get more room in his gut. I don't know. And he's eating and he's talking with his mouth full and eating and like telling you these things. Like, he's telling me it's great over there. He can eat whatever he wants, and no one's telling him what to eat and what not to eat and what to do and what not to do. Would your mom kind of tell him what to do, like kind of boss him around and nag him a little bit? Because it's just that funny feeling like he's like, I can do whatever I want here. I'm good. Allie, you're still in the list. Okay. So maybe it's just the feeling of like, because when I think of, and maybe it's my own idea of what socially, I mean, it's funny because like all the Russian people I know, I'm sure they cook and everything. But I don't, I just think of them, like, I think characteristically different. I always think of Italians eating. Maybe that's my own, like, I need to change that, right? But so it's this feeling of like, maybe that's why he was getting me to feel that and then just showing me at the table, like, I can do whatever I want. No one can tell me any different. I can eat, like, it's that feeling of like, I can talk with my mouth full of food and it doesn't matter. No one can tell me not to. Would she have said to him, like, if he was like telling his stories and like regaling about whatever or joking around, would she have just said, stop talking with your mouth full and just eat your food? Like, it's that feeling of like, no one can shut me up now. He loved her though, and they had like a nice rapport because he loved her for that. Because I feel like he would have kissed her and just like laughed and like, even if she nagged him, he really loved her and he knew that she loved him. I do feel like is apologizing because he said he's sorry for not to her for not letting her know that he appreciated her as much as he did. He didn't tell her enough. And he's also making me feel like he knew he left her with a lot when he passed. And he's sorry about that too. It feels like just like a lot of paperwork, a lot of stuff to have to kind of sort out. And he's sorry that he left her with all of that too. I think this is a sunflower. Does she have something with sunflowers or is that like her favorite flower or? He makes me feel like he could have been better about the paperwork. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. So that's a very beautiful message. Please pass that along to her because I think she needs to hear it. Is this coming around an anniversary for him? Because it feels like it's something a little bit harder time of year right now for her. That's fine, Chatterbox. Yeah, you're on the right path. I just heard that very quickly. Since it's a yes or no, it's easy to say that. Yesterday, 3 years ago. Okay, so an anniversary. So it was that feeling of it's really a hard time right now for her, and I think she really needs to hear that. She does really miss him. Even though he has a lot of work for her, she does miss him. Even the work. Did she talk about the stains in his underwear or the stains in his laundry? Like, it's like she doesn't have to do that anymore, but okay, I'm gonna move forward because I feel like he could talk all night. Okay. The second question you had was a message from your guides. Kay has, I'm gonna answer Kay's and then I'll kind of come back to yours. So give somebody else a chance. you have 2 questions, don't worry, I'll answer it, just to give somebody else a chance. Plus, I have another one for Allie, and then Chatterbox, she'll pay later, so we'll take care of that. I'll hunt you down. Just kidding. What I'm gonna do. Okay, so, I don't know how to hunt you down. I'll send it out into the ethers. Will Sarah at my work and I become close friends and date? Or will we just be workmates and nothing more? And I should focus elsewhere. I feel incredibly drawn to her, but I don't know what she feels for me. Curious. They said very clearly she likes you, but just as friends. You've had other lifetimes together before. And I keep hearing like as sisters, as siblings. So you've had other lifetimes together before, and that's sort of what the being drawn to somebody is. So what they're telling me is you sort of already kind of knew it, but it's almost like emotional intimacy is hard for you. So you sort of pick people who tend to be just out of reach to maintain that story of like, oh, I'm just unlucky. I just attracted to the wrong people. And they're sort of like, hey, manifest something different. Thank you, Chatterbox. That's very kind of you. Hi, Tamra. Hi, Ashley. Oh, cool. Is your channel called, it's called the Chatterbox? I do feel like you'll end up being friends. I feel like you'll end up being good friends. But I don't feel like it goes anywhere romantically. You can change your second question. That's fine, Eva. I don't think your anxiety screwed things up. Again, a lot of that's like sort of old belief system stuff you tell yourself. Do you do manifesting? Hi, EF, Emily. We all do manifesting, whether we know it or not. So we're going to put that one on the board. We all create the world around us. So people I've been looking at is this Roxy Talks is pretty good. I actually think she asked a question on here one time, but Roxy Talks is pretty good. Joseph Alai, ALAI is good. I may do some stuff because it's funny. I've been finding people lately who I've been helping them where it's not that I'm really helping them manifest. I'm looking at what they're stuck on and helping them figure out what it is that they're stuck on to move past that and actually manifest what they want. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, I just can't. And they're stuck in this, I can't, or it's not going to happen, or they don't realize that they're like focusing on it not happening. I feel like by February, you're going to have somebody around. A romantic connection. They said, but first you have to focus on you. Does that resonate with you, with the stuff I was talking about, sort of like picking someone that's out of your reach? Okay. Again, it feels like being best friends or sisters. So it's just a slow progression of like hanging out. And I think once you sort of understand your anxiety and where it stems from, then you can verbalize it to someone else and then you get it. My best friend has anxiety, and when we first met, I hadn't been doing therapy yet or anything myself and kind of working on my own stuff. And I could only just feel energetically the anxiety, right? And it was like unnerving for me. And then, like, once we got to know each other and we were talking, and this is like over several years, she kind of talked me out stuff. And I was like, well, no wonder that's there. No wonder all of that's there. And it's like once you sort of understand it, why you have it and what the core of it, it's like allows you to forgive yourself a lot for not being perfect or for having that. Like your anxiety manifests from somewhere. It's not just out of nowhere. Um, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just it's a coping mechanism in a way. Yeah. So is that childhood PTSD is what the CPTSD? Is that what the C stands for? Yes. So I was gonna say childhood because my girlfriend's is childhood stuff and like my stuff where I thought I remember like thinking I was weird and I would constantly feel like, God, I'm just weird. There's something wrong with me. I'm weird. And it wasn't. It had to do with all of my childhood trauma. And stuff that like literally I had blocked out until it became a need to protect someone else. So yeah. So it feels like you're going to sort of focus on that and it's going to open you up to new possibilities. And then at that point, you're going to be like, why was I into her? It just feels like vibrationally not a match. So let me just check and see if anybody else paid for readings. And then I'm going to do Allie and Eva to catch them up. Oh, Dan said, let's feed those hungry people, and he gave more money. Thank you, Dan. Check out his video. It is really good. I also think it's really interesting when people talk about their own experiences that they have, and when I can go, hey, yeah, that me too. Like I always find that validating for me too. So it's good to look around. Let's see. Allie has a second question, and we've got hers, and then Emily. Okay, so I'm gonna hit Allie's question, then Eva's question, and then Emily's question. Of course you can, KK. What do you mean it's acting weird? Like on the side here, up near the base of your skull? I'm going to tell you this before you answer that. I actually felt like a spasm, like a muscle spasm, but then I kept thinking about what I had just recently, and it's like just this weird tightness on the back. Like it was like I had weird stuff here, the top of your neck, right? But like where it meets the base of your skull. The way I feel like is it's impingement or something like that. So your chiropractor will be able to work it out. It's just a tight muscle or tight. They'll work it out. Yeah, it's just a where the muscles connect into the base of the skull and they're just tight. You don't have to worry. Put some heat on it. Like well, for me, heat. I mean, I don't know. You can always, ask your chiropractor before you go there if heat or ice, but I would think a heating pad. Devry, did you pay? No, there's nothing wrong with the cartilage. It's just a tight muscle thing. You're fine. Breathe. Oh, you did pay Devry. Okay, sorry, I didn't see yours. It got hidden. That's weird. That's so weird. Okay. Emily's mom. Sorry, I'm just reading the note quick with the. Okay. All right, lovies. Okay. All right, so Eva, I answered one of hers, so she has one more. And Allie, we just did yours. So Eva wants to know, how can you get back on your path after a bad relationship? I don't know if this is really necessarily psychic, but I'm going to tell you what they are leading me towards. So a lot of it is self-discovery and learning to trust yourself. Rebuilding and programming your inner dialogue. So I always talk about manifesting. When I would start with manifesting with you is not manifest a new relationship or just say manifest happiness, manifest self-worth. So I'm worthy, I can trust myself. I make good decisions. I am a good person. It feels like you were really confident and self-assured when you walked into that relationship, and the person you were in a relationship with was a total narcissist and did a lot of twisting of ideas and words and made you question your reality and your belief system and who you were as a person, and made you feel unsure of yourself. There's also a feeling of being really alone, like maybe I alienated my friends or I'm embarrassed, or this feeling of like shame connected to going back to my friends. And the feeling I get is there's one woman in particular that would be welcome you back with open arms. And that's exactly what he wanted to do, was confuse you and have power over you. Don't feel embarrassed. Smart, empathetic, kind, good people fall in love with narcissists all the time. Smart, intuitive, kind people fall in love and empathic people and empathetic people fall in love with narcissists because they see the possibility in people and not just what the person is really showing them. And narcissists have this way of doing that and brainwashing you. Don't be embarrassed. You have nothing to be embarrassed about. So it just feels like picking the pieces up, taking the time to pick the pieces up and really honor what you went through and don't be embarrassed or ashamed. You'll actually inspire others to find their own power to leave relationships like that. I also feel like they really didn't know how bad it was. Because again, like a narcissist will present one way to everybody else and another way to you behind closed doors. And a lot of that, like, it feels like he did a lot of the stuff where he'd say something kind of like crappy or to twist something and they'd be like, God, I'm just joking. Why are you so sensitive? You're not narcissistic. That's what a narcissist does. They go, oh, you want it to be all about you. And then, like, you question, you're like, maybe I am. Maybe. No, you're not. And I would do a lot of research of recovering from narcissistic abuse and narcissistic partners. I would, there's so much out there you can read and just focus on you right now. So it's not that you'll be able to be in another relationship. It's not that you won't be able to trust yourself and pick a better person, because you'll be aware and you'll know. And if you do the healing before you go out there, then you're not going to pick somebody like that. Yeah. Of course, they're going to deny what they'll lie. And then you call them out on it and they'll be like, oh, good. Ooh. And they make you feel bad, like you did something bad. It sucks. You'll get there. You're going to get there. Just know you'll get there. You'll get there. It's one step at a time. It's kind of a slow process. Make sure you're doing the physical things to take care of yourself, that you're drinking enough water, getting enough sunshine. Although today I'm not wearing a nice shirt, I'm like all like wanting to be comfy cozy because it's really cold outside, and like they're having people, watching the numbers of people in stores and stuff again, and like wait in line and all that good stuff. So you're not damaged. You have been an abusive relationship. There's nothing wrong with you. You aren't broken. You have some bruising that you got to heal, and you got to be kind to and be loving to, and recognize that anyone would come out of a relationship like that having to heal, but you are not damaged. You aren't, because you're going to get stronger and you're going to get through this, and you'll see it clearer once you're further out of it. It'll make more sense once you're further out of it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. And it's a shame that the victim is the one who comes out feeling like they did something wrong and that there's something wrong with them. And I'm really sorry for that. No one should feel that way. You're welcome, Eva. Thanks for coming. Emily, you're up. Let's see. Let's see. Can you type your questions, Emily? Just, do you mind? I know you typed them on the PayPal thing, but. I'm just checking to see. And then you're it. That's it. We're done. Super duper. Okay, wait. Tell me your mom's name. Okay, hang on. Okay, we'll do the new job first, and then type your mom's name, just so I have your mom's name, and see if we can connect with her. What is that movie? Oh, When Harry Met Sally, when I think it's When Harry Met Sally, when Billy Crystal gets the call and it's his mom, and she leaves him this long message about, and like, you were born, and you see him like mouthing her, leaving this long message. I think it was When Harry Met Sally, and he does that. Middy. Oh, that's a cute name. I think that's what it is because I feel like it's, um, I think that's what it's from. Why did that come to me? Did she like that movie? Okay. I don't know that your mom would have made this joke, but it's like this like little she didn't just like him, she had a crush on him. Like she thought it was very cute. And if there was ever a time to have like a if I ever saw him in person kind of thing, is the feeling I get with him. He's Jewish, right? Are you Jewish? Would she even like, oh, he's a nice Jewish boy? Are you Jewish? Would this make sense? Okay. She makes me feel like she was a lot of fun. Was she a fun mom? Because it's that feeling of like, I feel like I'm putting like a funny paper hat or singing funny songs with you or doing funny, like funny games and funny songs. Like I wasn't a mom who didn't want to see my kids. Then maybe that's what it is. He was a nice Jewish boy. She's showing me like maybe you were 2 or 3 where she's really playing a lot with you and really and it feels like maybe a lot of the other moms weren't like that and she just really adored you. Do you also have a brother? Oh, okay. She makes me feel like she worries about your brother, but doesn't worry about you. Like your brother missed something or didn't get something. Like if they were handing out the common sense, you got the common sense and he didn't. And she just like, it's like, oh my God. You get the chills a lot when she's around. So if you feel yourself just getting, because I just felt myself get the chills, and I don't get that much. That's not one of like a lot of people will say like, oh, I get the I know who does this is if you ever watch the Truth Warrior, she does political tarot. She'll say, I got chills on that. I got chills on that. Like a lot of people get that. I don't get that. That's not my thing. But I feel chills and she's making me feel like I get the chills. Um, like you get the chills when you feel her around. Yeah, like goosebumps, like feeling like that cold go through you, like where you get the shivers. Now, I have read for more than 5 people here, and I feel like we've had some really good mediumship connections tonight. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share with me. Share me with people. Let other people find out about my gifts and let other people help donate to the food bank. I think I'm gonna do this all month where I just give 100%. She's also showing me something about like almost like a tiara or a crown or like it's like I have something in my hair and then it almost looks like little cat ears or something in my hair. Hi, spiritual seeker. That's your mom letting herself known that she's with you. Do you have a daughter now? Because I feel like there's a special connection between her and your daughter. So it's either a namesake or your daughter actually sees her. Hi, spiritual seeker. Again. Are you planning on having a daughter? Yay! Are you planning on having any kids? I think you'll have a daughter. I do think there'll be a namesake, and I do think that she'll talk about your mom. Like you won't tell her about her, and she'll be like telling you about the woman that she sees. Don't worry about finding the man, it'll happen. But it's that feeling that there's going to be a namesake. Because she's showing me a daughter. And it doesn't feel like you, it feels like a generation below you. She says she's kissing me on the forehead here, but I see it as you. And she says, I was always with you. You're never alone. Was there something with her finger or your finger? Because I keep doing this with my hands. You do too, she said. And then there's also something about a butterfly. So do butterflies remind you of her or I'm seeing it like not a live butterfly, but something kind of really delicate. Do you have a butterfly ring of hers? Early on, she showed me a piece of jewelry where it was like wire outline kind of thing. And there's also something about a green stone. Is what emerald is August? Is that her birth month? A butterfly brooch. Okay. So that's it, the butterfly brooch. Did it have and maybe that's what the green is. Christmas connection. Why would she say to you, "You will always be my Valentine"? The opal has green on it. Okay, so that's that connection. And then there's the connection to the butterfly. So the butterfly is the brooch that she gave you. And a brooch is delicate, I would say. It might make sense to you later, the Valentine thing. All right, let's move on to your work question. Maybe she'll visit you in your dreams and validate it. Something will come up that will remind you. Just send it out to the universe. Just decide it. It'll make sense at a point. That's what I do when I can't. When I'm like, I don't know what this means. Just tell me. And eventually they do. They're kind enough. So let me see if I can scroll back up and find out what you guys had some really beautiful family members come through and give some really, really beautiful messages this evening. And I am beyond relieved and grateful that they came through so clearly and with really sweet and kind and funny messages. I did a reading for somebody and I thought it was hilarious because this woman was like, she's like, I've manifested my whole life and I'm struggling with this one thing. And there was so many hits in her reading that were like so random. There's no way like Uncle Eddie from Vacation coming up as like a validation for her, and Beyonce. And like, I don't want to talk about like exactly why they came up, but like major reasons. It wasn't just like, oh, she listens to Beyonce. It was like major reasons. And it was like, I'm like, that this is really all they're just validating for you that they're around. And this is like what I'm telling you about this going to happen. So sometimes when the far-fetched stuff seems like, I don't know, I can't see it happening. And I'm going, no, Spirit's saying this is going to happen. And then like I'm like, all of these validations, that's what that's about. It's just reminding you that, because there's no way I could connect all of these. And you guys had some really lovely messages. And again, they came through so clearly and wonderfully. So I'm really excited that I was able to do that for you. I can't even believe that I can do that now, by the way, because I remember when I first started doing readings, I was like, I can't do them on the phone, let alone with like not being able to hear your voice or see your face or anything. Oh my God. All right. I took a new job. Emily, you said, I took a new job and I'm excited and nervous. I wondered if you could give me a little reassurance about how my daily life will change for the better and maybe future opportunities. I feel like you're going to have more time in the day. So I don't know if your commute is shorter, but it just feels like having more time, and also just like that energetically room to breathe. I feel like financially it's a little bit more beneficial. So it's like I don't feel like I'm penny pitching so much. I feel like, again, I can breathe financially speaking. Is there like a lot of like black marble tile, either the floors, or I just feel like it's, however the office is set up, it feels very, or wherever you're at, it just feels like very modern, clean, minimalistic. Like, I don't feel like I'm in an attorney's office where it's just like, like a lot of attorney's offices, well, I mean, not that I've been in a lot, but I haven't. I don't know a lot of lawyers. I mean, I have family members that are lawyers, but I've never been to their offices. I assume probably from TV. There's, and I think from offices, my husband's company is built out wood, lots of wood paneling. This feels more like when you would think of, I don't want to say The Devil Wears Prada. Like, it's really like cold, but dark colors, not like white, like a hospital. Is everyone here? Penny, okay, minimalistic. Neuro triage nurse. Okay. Are you making more money? Feels like whatever it is, I have like more like room to breathe. I have to tell you, I don't think that you'll be in this field of nursing for more than a couple of years. So either you decide to specialize somewhere else. I feel like you're going to get bored in it. Like I feel like it's not going to be challenging enough for you. Either that or it just feels like either moving up or moving out, like where it's a little bit more challenging. You're not wearing scrubs for this though. I feel like feels more professional. Not that scrubs aren't professional, but you know what I mean. Okay, wait. So you're going from part-time to full-time, but lower pay, but overall it's more money, right? I'm not worried about the hourly rate. If it's more money at the end of the paycheck, even if you're working more, it's more money when you're picking up your paycheck. Because that's a validation that money is a little bit less, it's easier. I feel like you'll get a pay raise within 3 months or so. They're saying, like, and the hours are better, and the stress is better. I still don't think you'll stay here more than 2 or 3 years, though. But it's not I don't feel like I leave because it's this miserable experience and I just can't handle it. It's like I um just ready to spread my wings and grow and do something different. Um, don't be nervous about training under physicians. I mean, when I worked, I never was afraid of the doctors. I think when I first got out of school, I went and worked in Austin, and the hospital I was working at was not a teaching hospital. So, and it was an all RN unit of OBGYN, postpartum, antepartum, GYN surgical. And we had to call our attendings. They were, we were their eyes and ears. You're going to be working right with them. They're really cool. They're not like, oftentimes when you have to work directly with your doctors are not going to tear you apart because they recognize the importance of you. And even when you work in teaching hospitals, the attendings are usually pretty cool. You run into issues with like the first and second year residents when they're like still pretty wet behind the ears and very, very proud of their medical degrees. But most of the doctors I worked with that had been doctors for a while, or even, third, fourth fellows and stuff like that, they got that you're all a team, you're all there working together, you're there to do the thing. So don't be nervous working under the doctor. That I feel like you'll have a very good rapport, and no issues. And they'll teach you a lot. Um, I never had a doctor. If there was a doctor that didn't like to be called, when I worked, and you'll get to know your doctors and who, like what your leeway is. They may have standing orders for nighttime, things like that. Cause like when I worked at the one hospital I would work doubles and stuff like that till late or overnight. Um, you also had like I had a charge nurse who would like she would write the orders and be like, "I'll just do it." Like, because she had worked with them for so many years, she didn't care. Or which sounds terrible, but they were like standing orders for like something like uh, a gas pill or something like that. It was nothing, you know. And this was 20 years ago, so I think I'm past the statute of limitations of outing my nurses that I worked with. Um, I guess like with the doctors I worked with, if they seem like put out by it, I always thought, well, let me put it to you in a way that you don't have to you recognize that it's your license. So I had one patient that had a really high heart rate after having a baby because of blood loss. And I said, she has a high heart. I told him the heart rate and said, what do you want me to do? Well, she's compensating. I said, yes, that's exactly, yeah, of course she's compensating. Well, just let her. And I was like, okay, I'm going to write that I notified you and I received no orders because I can't say he's aware, but I can notify him. And then he promptly gave me an order that I needed to bolus her. But the point is you'll learn how to talk to your doctors and to get what you need without being argumentative or anything like that. You'll be fine. You don't have to be nervous about that. I also, again, I feel like the doctors are pretty cool and you won't have to worry about it. And it's also they have a little bit of a different demeanor in the office versus being in acute care. You'll be okay. And I always think like, well, too bad you decided to become a doctor. Like, you kind of knew you signed up for this, just like attorneys. Like a good friend of mine's husband is an attorney. I'm like, your dad was an attorney. Why would you want to read? Like they work so many hours. He knew what he was getting into. He's like, I knew what I was doing. List is closed. Absolutely. I feel like everything will kind of open up for you because it feels like I'm working 9 to 5. I have kind of a normal schedule and I feel more relaxed. It'll take some getting used to, but I think you'll really enjoy it. I still feel you doing something else in a couple of years though. So it's either maybe you become an office manager for them or you start doing something but it feels like doing something a little different than what you'll be doing now. And I can see why it would feel more like an office building versus being a hospital building. Like, because even when you say doctor's office, I still feel like it's pretty fancy. It's not one of these junk holes. Some of the doctor's offices in New York are so crappy. They're so bad. Houston definitely has better. I mean, it's just by virtue of the fact of like limitations of New York and office space, and whereas like other places you can go out, get newer office buildings and stuff. You just have what you have. So I feel like you'll be fine. I feel like I keep feeling like somebody has a good sense of humor. Like one of the doctors has a really good sense of humor and it's a lot more laid back than you would expect. That you'll be fine. And I feel like approachable. So they might even at a point tell you to relax, like ease it, just relax a little bit. Like it's okay. I'm not going to bite. And you'll learn a lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this evening. I hope you guys are well. Have a great week. Hang in there, wear your masks. We'll get through this. And January 20th can't come soon enough. You're welcome. Thank you for all of the kind words. Chatterbox, email me. And if you want me to be on your show, we'll figure something out. Oh, KK, sorry. I didn't forget you. What do you mean weird things have been happening? Like buzzing in my ear is what I keep hearing. Buzzing in my ear, buzzing in my ear. Have a good night, Dan. Oh, your washer broke. Oh, Devry. I'm sorry, Lovey. Okay, so Devry needs to ask too. I forgot to write your name on my list. Please forgive me. Last but definitely not least, Devry. Cooking disaster. You know how I say there's no such things as coincidence? I think it's a coincidence. I do feel like you're gonna pick up on another thing. Remember how there was those 2 times where you picked up, you felt like something was gonna happen, and then, um, those 2 things you and I talked about happened? So, I feel like that's gonna come again, and it feels like around December 23rd. So, either you'll start to feel it before then, and that's when the thing will happen, but there's something about December 23rd and kinda you starting to pick up on those vibrations. Um, don't start to panic about that. It just feels like it's gonna be another thing for you. So, and I keep getting this buzzing in my ears, so I actually feel like your clairaudience is starting to open up more. So you're gonna be kind of noticing a little bit more subtle things. Did you pay for one spiritual seeker? Yes, you did. Then you are the last one after Devery. You'll go spiritual seeker, you'll be sorry, hiccups. Right after Devery. So I don't think KK anything like I just think this is what's going to be fine tuning for you, your clairaudience. There's some connection to koalas as well. And I'll have to look up what the like spirit animal medicine thing is on that because even though I just looked it up for that dream thing I had, but I also feel like there's like an Australian connection to you as well. Okay, Devery, go ahead and ask your question. Okay. General reading for Devery. So they said, speak your truth, get out of your head. You're mulling it over too much. Um, I also feel like you're not like I literally feel like my feet are hanging below me, like I'm not able to touch the ground. It's that feeling of needing to be grounded more, like really focusing on being grounded. Um, have you been doing meditating lately, or you feel just kind of like that space cadet feeling, or not fully connected, or not fully present feeling? And it feels like the last week or so. Okay. So it just I also feel really sad, like just like been really bummed and sad lately. So I'm kind of going into this place of practicing meditating or like, and have you been reading about astral traveling too? Because that's another thing that I keep kind of getting pulled to, is like feeling like, oh, wait, what's that card? Um, sorry, I want to figure out what this card is because they're showing me one of my tarot cards. Cups. Hang on, give me a second. I want to figure out what this. Sorry. What is this card I keep seeing? So the feeling I get is kind of like it's really important for you to take time to like, while it feels better to not have to kind of be in all of this stuff. It's important for you to take time to like be present and be aware, doing some like breathing for your soul. What is this card? I see what this card is. Sorry, this is very tedious to stare at me, like looking, trying to figure out which card this is. I have the image in my head, and it's based on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, but more modern cards that I just really love this deck a lot. But I don't know why I can't think of what the card is that it is. It's this one. Might be this one, but I feel like it was one that looks like a balloon. Let me just go through these. Hate when they do this to me. It just feels like needing to really focus and be grounded. This one, Page of Swords. That's the Page of Swords. Then I want to go look at this thing, this site that I go to. Tarot Elements. I think it's Tarot Elements. Is it not Tarot? Give me a second. It just feels like needing to really kind of get grounded and be grounded and get out of my head, get out of the tarot guide, get out of my head and get out of what the story is that I've been telling myself. And, give me a second. So general meaning for this, because I saw the Page of Swords, which is this one where it's like, I'm kind of, if you see like, she's kind of like, she's reading a book and she's trying to figure out what's going on, but I'm also like, I'm walking a tight wire. I don't feel like I'm really grounded very well. I don't feel like I'm on solid ground, and I'm also being pulled up in the air in different directions. And to me, they remind me of balloons, and I feel like it's like this one is going to go at it. Like it's like I'm doing one thing. I'm not really paying attention to the stuff around me and what's going on around me. So it says, in general context, the Page of Swords represents delayed news, ideas, planning, and inspiration. It can also signify being protective, guarded, and vigilant. This minor arcana card may be telling you to be patient, to think before you speak, and not to get drawn into unnecessary arguments or conflicts. It can also represent fairness, speaking out, and fighting injustice, which I said to you, right? Speak your truth. The Page of Swords can indicate mental agility, learning or getting an education. I think I've said that to you before, that you would go back to school, being quick-witted, curious, and inquisitive, and using your head. This card can signify being chatty and communicative, truthful, and direct. However, it can also signify being blunt or abrasive and engaging in petty gossip. As a person, the Page of Swords represents a young person, child, or person who is young at heart, who is chatty, lively, quick thinking, analytical, logical, and cool, and possesses a sharp mind. This person abhors injustice and is a deep thinker, but at the same time can come across as blunt and sensitive, or a bit of a loner sometimes. In the negative, they can also be a bit of a gossip or deceitful, which I don't feel you're deceitful. Maybe a little gossipy at times. And it doesn't have to be like you're the town gossip. It can be like when we fall into talking negatively about other people, even with just one or two people. They like to stick to the rules and maybe an air sign, such as an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And this one was interesting. It says, and part of it is when it comes to money and career, just bear in mind you need to be able to put thought into action in order to succeed. This card can suggest that you may need to further your education in order to reach the lofty heights you have envisioned in yourself. Remember when we're manifesting, because I know that you kind of have said you tried to work on it. When you're manifesting, it doesn't mean like that it just falls in your lap. Sometimes it opens the doors for you or gives you the drive or the will to do the things that you need to do to put that in your path. Like you can't, like if you're like, I'm going to be a doctor one day, it doesn't mean, well, I'm just going to like walk into the hospital with a coat on and be a doctor. It means I'm going to, you see the end goal, but it doesn't mean you don't go to medical school and all of that stuff along the way. So indicates new ideas. Does that make any sense to you? Does that resonate with you at all? Any of that stuff? You're always stressed, but a norm. Well, you don't have to always be stressed. That doesn't have to be your norm. It's just that feeling like stuff is coming to you, but I'm still in the I'm not in the I'm in the planning phases. I'm in the growing phases. I'm not near the end of it. Spiritual seeker, do you want to ask your question? I don't know a ton about the tarot other than like when I read it very intuitively. So if anybody else wants to share what their feelings are on that, that's fine too. Okay, spiritual seeker. They said you're on the right path. You need to hunt down the truth. Does that make sense to you? I don't know. That's what I said. I was like, well, does this make sense? Because that's what I heard very. Oh, I'm like, what is this? It just feels like in a spiritual sense, like do your research on all of your like the spiritual ideas like that. It's I kind of said this at the beginning, I don't think you were here, where it's kind of like, don't just take somebody at the word because they're a spiritual person and they profess to be these, and they have all these followers or whatever. It's like kind of hunt it down, like do your research on all of these people and figure out where does it sit with my gut when I read all the crazy QAnon stuff or all the theories about like you have to protect yourself, or whatever spiritual theories come out. There's like you're on the right path on your own spiritual journey, but like hunt the truth down. Don't feel like, well, they said that, so that must be what it is. Like, even if I say something, don't go, well, Anna said that, so that's what it is. Like, find your own truth within it, right? There's plenty of people who I have tons of respect for where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't vibe with that. Like, that does not fit in my definition of what connects me with spiritual stuff. Um, does the name Tammy mean anything to you? Oh, why your husband is always blocked from being a lieutenant. Okay. That could just be something else. I don't know why that just like popped into my head. Give ourselves to be free. Things don't have to. Yeah, I mean, things don't have to be like hard and fast. There's stuff that I've over the years changed and kind of morphed. But I also think in the beginning, when you're sort of figuring out what you believe, you think that somebody maybe because they have more years under the belt, that they have more knowledge and wisdom. And that's not really always the case. And I try to always steer clear of saying something is like this is the way it is, because I think that there is room for wiggle room. I always say if your belief system is a certain way, then that is how it will be. So if I say that this is a magical rock that takes away all of my negative energy, then it becomes a magical rock that takes away all of my negative energy. If you don't believe it is, then it doesn't work for you that way. Um, I believe and have always believed that there was no limitations in how and who I could communicate with. So I can talk to animals if they come through. I can talk to trees and plants if they want to come through. Somebody had a bunny who came through in my reading last week. Doesn't matter. It's just energy. It's all from the same place. Yeah, I guess you would be a spiritual seeker. Your husband and lieutenant thing, it feels like an ego thing. Somebody's got a big ego and just it's like a power trip for him to not it's nothing, it's not that he's not qualified. And I feel like that person would the next 2 or 3 years will retire and then suddenly the doors will open up and the promotions will come. And I don't even necessarily feel like the person will retire because of age. It might be a health issue that kind of forces that person to retire. Does that make sense? Does your husband ever talk about somebody who it feels like a man um, who would be like, I don't feel like much of an age difference. It just feels like there's some ego thing about it. I do feel like he will. Like I said, so I don't know when your husband retires, but it feels like this other person retires, and so in 2 to 3 years, the promotions come. I said doors start opening. Isn't it though? It's like they're showing me it's like a pissing contest. Like who can pee further? It's just stupid, childish. And it doesn't even feel like it feels like kind of like nepotism in a way, and kind of like I don't know. Don't know where to start. So, spiritual gifts. Say you want to open them and decide. So, if you just start acknowledging the little bit of experience that you have, it starts to open the doorway for more experience. So, if you acknowledge that you feel an energy around you, say hello. If they're knocking on the door and you don't answer, they're going to eventually stop knocking, right? So it feels like knock on the door. Like if you feel like someone's with you, touches your shoulder, these are little ways that we feel things, right? Just acknowledge it. If you notice synchronicities happen, acknowledge them. Um, write down a journal and write down all of the experiences where you connected with your intuition, whether you listen to it or not. Write down, like, so it's like, oh, that time that I knew I shouldn't have gone to that party, and then like all of these awful events happened and I ignored my intuition, or I knew I shouldn't have befriended that person and I thought I was judging myself and thinking I was being judgmental, and I became their friend and it became a disaster. Like, even if you didn't listen, write down all the times that you've connected with your intuition, because the more you acknowledge it, one, you gain confidence in seeing like this list of stuff, right? And two, um, they go, oh, she's listening. And you start to develop this language, because intuition is nothing more than developing a different, your own personal language with spirit. Okay. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I am done for the evening. We've been on for a long time. I hope you all have a lovely week. Remember to breathe, take time out for yourselves. Please, please, please wear your masks. Take care of yourselves, protect others, wash your hands, limit your get togethers. There is no need for anybody to get this and overwhelm our hospitals. And if any of you are healthcare workers, please, please take care of yourselves. Know that we are incredibly grateful, and I will be sending you energy throughout the week to take care of you too. Good night, everybody. KK, thank you so much. And we will see you next week, same time. I now have like a whole like Zoom thing, so I'm kind of kicking around the idea of doing a psychic development circle. So we will see you. So like a where we do like maybe a weekly, where not only am I doing readings, but you guys are doing readings for yourself, and it'll be a small group, maybe 10 people. All right. So you guys have a good week. We'll talk to you next weekend. Bye.